Sun rises, and we rise with it. Pursuing new opportunities to change the world.
We have a lot to cover, so let's get started.
One day at a time.
We are Pirate Nation.
One community at a time.
And we give no quarter.
One person at a time. A new day is beginning in the East. It's your time to rise.
Welcome back to our studios. Chris Butta and Brooke Weisbrod and Mike O'Donnell here for the next few hours. Next up on our schedule is ECU. We're going to start with the women's team. They were picked to finish 7th in the AAC coaches preseason poll. And joining us now, Taniyah Thompson, the junior who led the team in scoring last year with 12 points per game. Taniyah, thanks so much for joining us. What are you looking forward to most this season?
I'm just looking forward to playing with my team. We have a new team this season, so I'm just really looking forward to getting out there and getting some wins.
7 new players on your team this year. What have you guys done to try and build some friendships, chemistry around the program?
Well, we've been here since the summer, so we've been focusing on off the court chemistry. Last year we weren't able to do that because of COVID, but this year we really harped on off the court chemistry and on the court chemistry.
We have some questions via the media on Zoom, so I'm going to let Tom toss. Actually, Brooke has a question for you first.
I do. I actually have a couple. You made the All AAC freshman team, the only player to start all 22 games. What was your strategy to improve this summer?
This summer I was just working on consistency and just getting in the gym with my teammates. I learned that chemistry is really important for a full season. So instead of working out alone, I've worked with my teammates a lot.
You had an awesome post on IG that said, "I'm that song you skipped and found out later it was fire." What did you mean by that?
I think a lot of times, people sleep on me personally and us as a team. So, it's only a matter of time so everyone wakes up. So that was what that post meant.
What kind of songs? Like, what are you listening to pregame?
Pre-game, I'm probably listening to some G Herbo or some Lil Baby. That's my go-tos.
That's on your playlist too, isn't it, Chris?
Yeah, I was gonna say, can you tell me about? I'm not quite as cool as you are. I'm not. Once you hit mid-30s, the coolness factor on the iPod goes down. We're gonna toss it over now to our media members who have some questions for you via Zoom.
All right, thanks, Chris. Our first question will come from Stephen Ego of Hoist the Colors.
Taniyah, when you look at your first 2 years at East Carolina, you've obviously gone through the American a couple times now. What have you learned from those experiences in this league, and what do you hope to apply going into your third year?
A few things that I learned from freshman year and sophomore year, just really playing hard and playing throughout the whole game. Can't just have these spurts. You got to play through the game and so we can get the wins. It's been a lot of growth for me this season. Like I said, working on my consistency, and that's the biggest thing.
Taniyah, Mike O'Donnell here in the studio. I got to respect a player who plays like you have a chip on your shoulder. Where does that internal motivation come from? Because you can certainly see it on the court.
That chip comes from just grinding. Ever since I've been young, I've always been in the gym. So just to continue grinding, that's where the chip really comes from. Also, the chip comes from my coaching staff. We all have a chip on our shoulder. So to be a reflection of that on the court is what I try to do every day.
Taniyah, last year you played like in front of small crowds, just friends and family. Have you thought about what it'll be like to be in front of fans again?
I'm excited to get the Pirate fans back in the seats. It was weird last year playing in front of only a few people, but like I said, I'm just really excited for what's to come.
Well, Taniyah Thompson, we're looking forward to watching you play this season.
Thank you.
What a cool girl. I mean, when you get a chance, when you go through their social media pages, the personalities. What did you like that she said about playing with a chip on her shoulder?
Well, it comes from her, right? It's internal. I actually think I don't know if I've ever heard anybody describe a chip on their shoulder also coming from the coaching staff. So when you have your players and your coaching staff, they both have a chip on their shoulder. An East Carolina team that you see it, they're physical, they're aggressive, they're really, really gritty. And it's fun to watch when a coaching staff and their players are synced up with the same type of attitude. It's usually a recipe for success, Brooke.
Yeah, listen, I built my career off of playing with a chip on my shoulder. You know, I was always told I'm undersized, you're 5'7", that's a dime a dozen guards. And there's an incredible motivation that comes from that to prove people wrong. I love that. You know, you can tell there's an internal fire in there, you know, maybe not outwardly overly expressive, but I would love to see. I'm going to challenge you tonight to be more of that and be very vocal this year. But I like that. You can tell she's got a real serious game about her.
7 new players, 4 of them transfers, which is a theme we've seen a lot in this league. I feel like every time we're up here, it's 4 or 5 new transfers. For this league specifically, to be able to go and get players from the Power 5 conferences that didn't see the playing time, how useful is that to rebuild some of these programs?
Well, what's really useful, not only getting the big players, but having the summer, like she said, you know, to spend time together. Because you can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't have chemistry, good luck. You know, you got to have those connections on the team. So it's those little moments of going out to eat or going to the movies or just being at somebody's house joking around where you can then use that humor or those moments where you guys connected off the floor to then be there on the court and to trust each other.
Right, we've heard that so much this year because you didn't have that last year. You were assigned seats on a plane or on a bus because you could only sit next to your roommate. None of this Taco Tuesday and stuff existed last year.
Well, I'm going to call you out a little bit, Chris Budden, because you're still in football mode, and there's not really Power 5 in baskets. It goes beyond that a little bit. You know, when you're talking about the American and the Big East, the Atlantic 10, the Mountain West, and because of the NCAA tournament, in the transfer portal, you're looking for fit and experience. Is not so much where the player comes from, is if you can find the right fit and experience to plug in now. That's really where the recruiting comes from, and the philosophy for a lot of coaches inside of the portal is am I taking it from a team or a conference? No, I'm looking for fit, and I'm looking for, you know, the skill set that's going to help us win now, because every single team in the country is in win now moment. That's just the way that the business is.
Absolutely, that's a great point. We're going to join now head coach Kim McNeill, her 3rd season at ECU. Coach, we were talking with Taniyah about the off-season chemistry that these players have built with all the new faces. How have you seen that progress since they came on campus during the summer?
Yeah, that's been my main focus, you know, ever since they stepped on campus. You know, 7 new players on a basketball team is a lot, you know, when you have 14 scholarship kids. So we knew coming in this summer that it was going to be all about the chemistry. You know, we did a lot of different things. We did field days. We had people come in and speak to us about leadership. And I've seen that build. You know, you got 3 freshmen, you got 4 transfers. The transfers have come from different, you know, philosophies. So putting 7 new kids together with 7 returnees, you know, it's been a challenge, but it's been really good. I love where we are right now as a team. I love our chemistry off the court. I love our chemistry on the court. So I'm looking forward to the season. I'm excited. I'm extremely excited about this team and what we can do.
Coach Weisbrod in the studio. You get Raven Johnson back as well. You know, how excited are you to have her in the lineup? And she brought you 12.6 boards a couple years ago. What is her progress and what is her ceiling?
Yeah, Raven. Raven's like a second daughter to me. You know, she's only been able to play in 4 games for us since we've been here. And, you know, there was no hesitation on whether or not I was going to bring her back this year just because of her buy-in and just who she is as a person. She loves our team. She loves and unique to the table, and it's so refreshing having Raven out there on the floor. You know, she does so many different things from us. She's a leader. She brings personality. She's an unbelievable athlete. She rebounds. She gets out in transition. She defends. So, you know, she's a prototypical player for me at ECU because she does all of those little things that sometimes doesn't even show up, you know, on the stat sheet. So to have her out there, I'm excited for her. I'm constantly cheering for her, you know, when she's doing great things, and her teammates are so excited for her to be back as well.
Coach McNeill, it can be exciting when you bring in a talent via transfer, but also it can be maddening as a head coach to try to put those pieces together, particularly an individual like yourself, a coach like yourself, who has such a fierce defensive philosophy. How have the transfers adapted to that defensive mindset that you want for your team, and how's the chemistry been with so many new faces?
You know, for us, when we recruit, you know, we don't sugarcoat it. We are a defensive-minded team. That's our identity. That's how, at the end of the day, that's how we're going to win games. So when we're out recruiting, it has to be a fit for us. It has to be a kid that, you know, wants to grind it out, to, you know, be a blue-collar player, to be willing to defend and to do the little things. And so, you know, we just don't go out and recruit, you know, X, Y, and Z. We recruit kids that fit our system. And so for these 4 transfers, you know, they were already defensive-minded kids. Maybe they hadn't pressed as much as us, or maybe they hadn't played our matchup, you know, like we're playing now. But they, you know, they love to play defense and they want to play defense. So it's been an easy adjustment as far as how hard they're going. It's just picking up on the little things and picking up on, you know, our defensive philosophy.
Coach Chris Budden here in the studio. We have a meet and greet piece with one of your freshmen, Isis Adams. So I want you to listen into it. We're going to watch this, and then I want to get your thoughts on your new freshman. So here's Isis Adams.
All right.
What's up, y'all? I'm Isis Adams. I'm 18. I'm a freshman here at ECU. I am a wing forward, and I'm majoring in exercise physiology. I chose to come to ECU because it was in my home state, so I wanted to stay close to home. And I love the atmosphere being here. It very much feels like I'm at home with the family atmosphere. I am a hard-working player. I do all the little things, the tangibles, rebound and defense, get on the floor. I bring the energy, I'm loud. I'm like the biggest cheerleader on the bench, I promise. Definitely look out for that. I chose number 20 because my senior year, I changed from 24 to 20 because of the Kobe passing. I wanted to pay respect to him, so I chose 20, and I've had a really good year, so I wanted to keep that flowing into my college career. Probably find me dancing, singing. Can't sing, can't dance, but I'm going to be doing it with some friends, and there's going to be videos about it. I'm just looking forward to experiencing the college life, on and off the court. Just something new, out of my comfort zone, for real. So me, I like cooking. So I like cooking and baking. That's one thing I grew up doing with my mom and like basically all the women in my family, and it kind of passed on. So I have a couple different options. Right now, I want to be an athletic trainer for like a professional team, or I want to be a coach. I feel like I could be a really good coach. I just want to be around basketball at the end of the day. So however that is.
Coach, Isis seems like just a ball of energy. How would you describe her?
She definitely is. You know, this freshman class, they bring a lot of energy. They bring a lot of personality. You know, I think one of the common themes that you'll hear from talking to any of our players is just our family environment, and that's who we are. That's what we, you know, preach day in and day out. You know, but some of the other things she touched on was, you know, her being a cook, and she definitely is. They've had some team gatherings, you know, and I've seen some spreads, and I'm like, wow, can I get an invite? You know, some of the mac and cheese and the barbecue and all of that stuff. But she's definitely mature. You know, as a freshman, you know, you know, it's a transition for all freshmen. You know, they're coming in and you know, they think they've done those drills. They think they've gone hard in practice, and then they step on the court for the first time in college, and they realize, wow, like this is really different. But I think she's adjusted very well. You know, we're expecting some good things out of Isis this year with just what she talked about, doing the little things, defending and rebounding, and kind of being, you know, that person that's willing to do whatever it takes to get on the floor.
That's awesome. Well, if you get an invite to dinner, take 3 invitations for Brooke, Mike, and I. I know some of our media through Zoom has some questions for you, so I'll let Tom navigate that.
Great.
Thanks, Chris. Our first question will be from Stephen Igo of Hoist the Colors.
Coach McNeill, 2 years in the American now for you. What has been the biggest surprise kind of stepping into this league, and how do you feel like maybe your roster makeup now going into your 3rd year matches up with the rest of the league?
Yeah, I don't think people really realize how good this league is from top to bottom. It's extremely competitive. Some very, very good coaches, some very good players, very athletic league, and I don't think we get the respect that we deserve from the rest of, you know, the women's basketball world. But, it's just, it's a league that, likes to pound the ball inside. And I think we've, in the recruiting aspect this year has gotten bigger. This is the first time, in my head coaching career that I've had 3 kids over 6'3", which I think that will definitely help us, at the end of some games and being able to rebound better and be able to, control that paint a little bit more. I definitely think it's going to help us a lot this year.
All right, our next question will come from Christy Thomas-Cuddy of ESPN.
Hey, Kim. 2 questions. Probably most importantly, will we see the twins on the sideline this year? And then secondly, you made a comment that really stuck to me last year, was that you didn't feel like you could substitute to put kids on the floor that could play your style of defense and could score the ball. Through these 7 new kids, through the maturity of your returners, do you feel like you have those pieces this year to where you can get back to playing that true Kim McNeill intense defensive style that just disrupts everyone on the floor?
Yeah, well, your first question, you'll definitely see Gabrielle and Caden. They're a little older now, Chrissy, than what they were at Hartford, so they did a little bit more traveling with us there. Now, they have their own worlds. Caden's really big in baseball, and Gabby's got her soccer and her softball going on, so they're busy. And they keep Corey and I extremely busy. Our real jobs don't start till after 5 o'clock when we get home with them. But to kind of answer your question, I definitely think we have more depth this year. We've got 13 people, 14 people in practice. And obviously to play the style that we play, we got to have bodies. And obviously my first year, we didn't have that with only 7 or 8 players. And then last year, having some injuries and things of that nature was kind of tough. But practices have been really good. They've been competitive. We've got multiple people that are playing each positions. I got 3 kids that can play the point. I got multiple kids on the wing. I got, 6 or 7 bigs, so they're coming out every single day and they're competing. I do look forward to getting back to playing, Kim McNeill style of basketball. We've talked about putting more points on the board this year. We have to do that. We want to be, more in the high 60s and really trying to keep our opponents to around the 50s. And we talk about that every single day. We talk about how can we create some easy offense. For me, my philosophy has always been, control your controllables. And there's some days where that ball feels really good coming off your hand and it just won't go in. So that's why I've had the philosophy of defense, because you can control that. You can control how hard you want to play. You can control if you want to rebound, dive on the floor, things of that nature. And then defense can lead to offense for you, which I think we do a pretty good job of that, of making our turnovers lead into offense for us. But we got to be able to score in the half court. And so we've talked about how can we do that? How can we create easy opportunities for us? I definitely think my bigs, they're battling every day. Tierra Chambers, Tyler Bennett. I think Tyler Bennett has been huge for T, because she's got somebody she's going against every single day in practice that is the same size as her. And T has stepped her level of game up tremendously, and her and TB are going at it every single day. And they're going to be a force for us. They have to score for us. And I say it every day. We have to have points in the paint, because if we can get that ball inside, that's going to loosen up the wings for us, and that's going to give Taz easier shots. That's going to give, Raven easier opportunities to get to the basket instead of everything being on them and everything having to go through our guards.
And Kim, you mentioned that you have 3 players over 6'3". So for me, it's always been, from covering you, your defensive leading to your offense from those points. You want points in the paint. Now that you have the bigs, what is your goal coming into the season? I know we still have a month of preparation to go, but that point distribution, like how much do you want your bigs to be able to score, knowing they're not up front a lot of the times in that press?
I want them scoring. I've challenged each one of them, T and TB, to be, double doubles for us night in and night out. If they can get us 8 to 10 points and get us 8 to 10 rebounds, that's going to change us tremendously, because, if you go back and look at us, we've had times where we've had some really good execution in the half court defensively, but we're giving up 2 and 3 extra shots because we're not rebounding the ball. So, we've talked about being a better rebounding team, and that's not all on our bigs. Our guards have got to get in there, and they've got to get grinding. They've got to get, get in there and rebound for us as well. So, those are some really key things that we focused on here in this preseason, as being a better rebounding team and being able to create easy opportunities for us offensively, getting to the free throw line and creating some easy offense.
Coach Kim McNeill, we really appreciate the time. Looking forward to watching you guys start the season November 9th in Middle Tennessee.
Yep. Thank you guys for having me.